G'day battlers, and today I became the number 4 in the world in the Silph Arena, number 3 in Australia, and you may be going, those numbers seem terribly close, surely Australia doesn't have 3 of the top 4, and well, technically they do, because the Silph Arena Season 4 did just start, so it's a bit of a technicality that I am number 4 in the world, just because I did the very first tournament, well I hosted the very first tournament in the world, and we got it through, and I did end up doing okay, so I ended up 3-1 technically, which put me at 4th, and so yeah, now I can go around saying that I was number 4 in the world in Silph Arena Season 4, but today we are going to be jumping into my run through that Lunar Cup tournament, so it isn't just purely talking nonsense about rank, so yeah, we're going to be going through my tournament run, and let's just jump into it. Now, I actually got a buy in round 1, which doesn't actually help my rank at all. It just makes it go from a 2-1 to a 3-1. So essentially, I ranked a 2-1 tournament, which I was happy to do because, I mean, again, number 4 in the world. But going into round 1, we're actually up against DankBrode. I should probably learn how to say these names. But he actually went on to sweep the tournament and become the world champion, the world number 1. So huge shout out to him. And he's got that Frostlass, Trash Wormadam, Sableye, Escavalier, Alolan Graveler, and Zweilous. And I should probably mention my team, which I just blatantly stole from TheTactical. I was driving home from getting this thing in my arm. Can't really see it in there, but you know, there's a jab in there. So I was driving home and I was like, oh man, the meta like just opened up, the cup just started. So I was like, well, I don't have a team ready, so I'm just going to yoink this one that TheTactical just swept the tournament doing. I'm going to link to where they covered that. I think it might have been on, I'm not sure if it was on my PvP Academia's channel or on TheTactical's channel, but they did cover his sweep through his practice tournament. So again, there's going to be a link to that in the description down below, but I decided to yoink his team here. Not sure what the movesets were, but I am running a little bit of a spicy moveset. So my Mandibuzz is Air Slash, and then the Foul Play Aerial Ace. Crustle is running the Fury Cutter variant. We've got that Volt Switch Alolan Graveler with the double rock charge moves. We've got Golurk, who's going to be running Mud Slap, Shadow Punch, and Dynamic Punch, and Golurk does appear in this tournament and does quite well. And then there's got Obstagoon, who have just got the counter Night Slash and Cross Chop. And then finally we have a Escavalier, who I'm actually running Mega Horn and Aerial Ace on. Aerial Ace, I played a lot of Heracrosses in my practice tournament. I don't think I saw any in this tournament, but I guess it was pretty full of Aussies, so maybe they don't have as much access to a Heracross. But that said, we'll jump into the first battle here, and let's get into it. So straight away, we're going to lead the Obstagoon, because Obstagoon has pretty good matchups up against Dank's team, and I wasn't too worried about anything at all. And Sableye wasn't a bad lead. Wasn't a bad league, so I can definitely put a lot of pressure onto this Sableye by throwing these foul plays. Even though they are neutral because of the Ghost and Dark typing, they still do a fair amount of damage, and I decided to swap out of there to Alolan Graveler. Alolan Graveler is a little bit less of a necessary pick up against Dank's team, so I was kind of like, I would like to keep Obstagoon a bit more healthy, so I'll catch the charge move on here, and I'll still be able to throw something dangerous at whatever comes in, and it is that Zweilous, so we're going to go all out and throw the big old Stone Edge. Does get the shield, but that is kind of fine, because, yeah, Alolan Graveler wasn't our most important mon. It was a bit of a neutralish mon, but we bring in the Obstagoon. Obstagoon can definitely tank whatever the charge move this is from this Zweilous, so we can definitely just let that come through. And then I think I actually ended up going for the Night Slash here. In the Lunar Cup, I was kind of tempted to not throw my Cross Chop straight away, just in case they then thought that I might have like Gunk Shot, and then play differently around that later on, but there's not very often that you actually get that much energy on your Obstagoon anyway, so probably a poor strategy, something I'll probably not do in the future. But we bring in the Crustle now, just keep Obstagoon the tiniest little bit healthy so we might be able to use it as a safe swap later. I was hoping to be able to farm all the way down, but unfortunately just at the end able to get that charge move off there, and I did shield up. I knew the Body Slam wasn't going to do much damage, but I still shielded it anyway in case I wasn't sure what they had in the back, and it turns out to be an Escavalier, so this is a pretty dangerous spot, and they just called the bait, called the X-Scissor, which is really unfortunate, because this Rock Blast definitely going to do a Rock Slide, sorry. See, look how much damage that does, so we actually still get it through, which isn't that bad, but at this point, we're going to be able to farm this Escavalier down, but we don't have much to do up against the entire back line, which that Sableye is still around. Sableye's coming in and actually going to be eating up this X-Scissor, or could burn the shield, because they've still got one shield left. But my Obstagoon is basically helpless in the back, so I basically need to catch the charge move onto my Obstagoon, and I was one Shadow Claw early. Really, really unfortunate there. The final Shadow Claw, I caught it onto the Obstagoon. So yeah, if I let one more Shadow Claw come through, might have been able to get to an X-Scissor on that Sableye, but yeah, a little bit rough there. And I forgot that this is actually going to be a bit problematic, because it is actually in different pieces. So I'll see you when the second battle's here. Okay, so we readjusted, we put Crustle in the lead in case that Sableye came again, and it turns out there's a Wormadam coming in, and that is not Confusion Wormadam, that is Bug Bite Wormadam, I think, which is definitely a pretty It's a pretty dangerous mon, especially because my team doesn't have any, like, I don't have Roserade who has that fire weather ball. I was hoping to maybe just get some sort of shield out of there from Crustle, but that was probably a poor move as well. I probably should have kept that energy for later on. We swap into the Obstagoon and shield up the Bug Buzz because we have to. We really did not have an answer on our team, a good answer for that trash Wormadam, so definitely a little bit problematic, but we decided to go for the cross drop here because Escavalier is still going to take neutral damage there, and we figured we might be able to get to another one, but unfortunately just not able to do that. That Escavalier just doing too much damage with the double super effective counters. So we bring the Crustle in, and at this point we know we can tank a drill run from this from the Escavalier. So we let it come through, and then we're thinking that we might be able to get to a Rock Slide, and we do. We decide to go, decide to not let them farm as much. So I'm like, we'll just go down here, throw the X's before we go, and then we instant swap into the Alolan Graveler. And at this point, they've got 2 shields on a Dragon Breather, and you can just see that I'm losing health way too fast. I go straight for the nuke here with the Stone Edge, and it's pretty much guaranteed they're going to shield because there's no reason not to. And yeah, this game's pretty much won, which does mean that I lose my first round. Well, it's kind of the second round of the tournament, but my first round battling to DankBrode, who again did end up going ahead to become the #1 in the world, #1 in the country, #1 all over the shop. So yeah, again, huge congrats to him. We've still got 1 battle to go though. Jumping in with the Mandibuzz lead this time because I was a little bit more confident about that up against the Wormadam because Bug Bite and Bug Buzz not going to do as much damage to Mandibuzz as it would have to the Obstagoon, so I wasn't too broken up about it. So we throw the Foul Play straight away to try and get some damage onto this Wormadam ASAP because we really need to get rid of this thing. I'm kind of wondering like, oh, did we do a catch onto Crustle? But I was like, nah, we don't need to do any sort of fancy things here. Just let this charge move come through. It is the Bug Buzz, which definitely hurts, brings us down to like half health. And at this point, I think we can win the even shields up against the Trash Wormadam. I decided to go for the Air Slash as a bait because I think that they'll recognize that they could take me out and then go for another Bug Buzz. So we decided to throw that, and it was successfully to get a shield here. And at this point, I feel like they're just going to go for an Iron Head because I'm getting real. I think an Iron Head would take me out. So we kind of have to shield it. Ideally, we would have shielded up the earlier Bug Buzz, but then we probably would have had to eat a Bug Buzz there anyway. But anyway, we go for another Aerial Ace because at this point it will take out that Wormadam, and they decide to let it come through. So we have switch advantage, but they do have the I guess they have the energy advantage. So they bring this Wireless in. I've got Obstagoon in the back, so I'm going, all right, this is going all right. I can definitely tank a charge move from the Wireless. This is looking okay. I've got Crustle in the back. There's nothing they've got that is too deadly to Crustle. I think a Alolan Graveler is the scariest thing, and they bring in a Escavalier. And they've got a little bit of an energy advantage. I'm kind of going, okay, we need to land this Rock Slide onto the Escavalier. And so we decide, okay, I think that because our strategy last time was just go straight for it, they might think we're going to do something different here. So we go straight for the nuke again, hoping they don't shield, and they burn the shield. And at this point, I'm just like, I think that's actually game over based on that one single decision. So we go for an Exeter just to try and get some extra damage on the Escavalier. I think we CMP tied with that Escavalier. Yeah, looks like a CMP tie there. So we got a little bit of damage off, and Obstagoon's going to come in. But again, Obstagoon taking double super effective damage from those counters, still going to do heaps. So we had to go for the charge move straight away. And I think this does take out the Escavalier, but then, you know, we're not in a great spot up against that Swallows in the back. It would be great if we had a charge move, but that Dragon Breath, again, just doing way too much damage. And we did get to the charge move at the end, but unfortunately, just wasn't able to cut it. So in my first round, I guess, of the season, we did end up going 0-3. Well, you know, other than the bye, but yeah. Again, huge congrats to DankBrode, and we'll jump into round 3. Okay, and now we are up against Mikeymorgs, who's got a pretty interesting team with Obstagoons, Wireless, Mandibuzz, Chestnut, Crustle, and Ariados. Now, I'm kind of hoping that my Aerial Ace on the Escavalier might be helpful up against the Chestnut and the Ariados. They may not be expecting it, although Drill Run's still going to be a scary move up against Ariados. And Chestnut isn't that tanky, so it might be scared of anything anyway, but I'm kind of hoping that Escavalier might be able to get some good use out of this one. And then other than that, I think Mandibuzz is definitely probably a pretty decent safe swap up against Mikey's team. So I think I'm probably going to bring that in, expecting that Fury cut a Crustle, and we get a pretty decent lead here with Crustle up against the Obstagoon. Because with the Rock Bug typing, we actually take neutral damage from those counters instead of super effective like you might, or I certainly initially expected months ago whenever I first played this matchup out, not knowing my typings. But yeah, we're in a pretty good spot here. X's are going to be super effective, going to do a nice bit of damage to this Obstagoon. So we charge up a little bit extra, go for the first one, does a heaps of damage. We get to our second one before they get to the charge move. We're timing our moves pretty well here by getting a good amount of X's before they counter. I'm not doing it perfectly, so I could probably get like an extra X's in here or there, but overall, I think it's doing okay. So we shield up the Night Slash because I think we can X-Scissor all the way down, Fury Cutter all the way down, sorry, and then have energy to get an X-Scissor off onto whatever comes in, which could be the Mandibuzz, in which case it's not going to do much damage. But it's actually the Crustle, and I'm able to get to a Rock Slide here, which is going to do heaps of damage if this goes through, which is really awesome. Like, I know Shinies are supposed to be doing more damage, but oh my gosh, look at that damage. That thing is almost gone, and that was just my lead Pokemon. So at this point, we don't want to bring in Mandibuzz, because Mandibuzz would have to eat a Rock Slide, essentially. So we decided to bring in the Escavalier, because I'm a little bit more confident in the Mandibuzz in the back, and here we go. I was actually able to take the Crustle out before a Charge Move came through. I'm not sure if they were just a little bit hesitant, or if they, I don't know. Maybe they just wanted some farm on the Mandibuzz. But no, they wouldn't have wanted farm. It's pretty GG's at this point, though, because we've both got our Mandibuzz, pretty much full health, pretty even energy, and I have my Escavalier in the back as well. So yeah, there's not much they can do to sort of win this one out. They're not able to catch. I don't think I'm going to do anything fancy like try and catch an Aerial Ace, because again, they're like the tiniest little bit of energy ahead of me. So even if we played this out and I did no switching, that Mandibuzz wouldn't have much energy going into the Escavalier in the back, and it wouldn't have much health to survive very long up against Escavalier. Looks like I was actually going for the catch there, funnily enough, but we go for the shield there, because again, we know that we can just whittle this thing right down. We get to this Aerial Ace, is going to bring it really low, and I think at this point I could probably swap into Escavalier and counter it all the way down. Looks like that is what we're doing, which I'm not going to throw any charge moves, because I don't want to reveal these charge moves. I think I was going to go for the Mega Horn, and then I went, nah, not worth revealing the moves here. So we can definitely tank a charge move from Mandibuzz, and even if Mandibuzz was able to take us out, our Mandibuzz would have been able to kind of take it out in the back anyway. So we'll jump into game 2 of round 3, which is still confusing because it's kind of like round 2 here. But at that point, I'm kind of going, hey, that line kind of worked. The Mandibuzz hanging out in the back. I didn't really use it as a safe swap, but it still kind of worked as that sort of safe back Pokemon. So we go into this next one with the Crustle lead again into this Wireless, which again is a really nice lead. Still going to do heaps of damage with these X's because it's got another Dark typing. So I'm kind of thinking they've probably got the Mandibuzz in the back as well. So I'm kind of thinking we don't want to show our Mandibuzz. So we decide to actually swap into a Escavalier, keep Crustle for later. So I'm kind of expecting them to maybe counter that a little bit more, make it a bit more valuable. And we just sacrifice this Escavalier completely. And just before we go down, we get to the Aerial Ace. This will do so much damage with the Grass and Fighting typing. And bada bing, yeah, didn't land. Now it's revealed, so it wasn't great, but hey, this Chestnut is switch locked in here. I can bring in the Mandibuzz. I'm assuming they've got Superpower Energy Ball, so neither of those is going to take me out, so I do not need to shield here. Let it come through. And then I think, oh no, I actually tapped on the charge move there, which is really silly, because I should have gone for the full farm down, because I definitely could have, but yeah, either way, I get one extra little bit of farm because I undercharged, but not the best. I can definitely refine that gameplay as we kind of go through the month, but we bring in another Crustle on the other side, so we decide to bring our Crustle back in. We have the shield advantage, and they go for the swap, the sack swap, to try and catch a move onto the Wireless, which actually potentially would have won them the match. I think it would have made the game a lot more baity, and they let the Rock Slide through too, which pretty much just seals the deal. There's no way they can kind of win this matchup, and I let a Rock Slide come through, but Mandibuzz can finish the job off there. But yeah, definitely like well played. And if I was actually going for the charge move when they swapped in, so if I was a little bit faster on tapping on the charge move, that definitely could have been Mikey's game. Again, it would have been a kind of game of baits though, like getting the X's shield and then landing the Rock Slide through, because I still had 2 shields at the end there and Mikey ended up with 1, so it definitely could have moved a little bit, but I was definitely in a pretty advantageous position with those 2 with the 2 shields ready to go. But jumping into the third game here, we've got Crustle up against the Ariados. I'm not actually sure how this matchup goes, but I feel like it's not great. I think for Crustle, it probably needs to land the Rock Slide, so I decided to go straight for it. And if I think I can probably tank a charge move from Ariados, so I think I'm just, oh my gosh, letting it go through, swapped into Escavalier to try and just take Ariados out straight away. But again, I'm kind of using Escavalier as a bit of a sack here, because I think that Crustle Mandibuzz is a really, really powerful core up against Mikey's team. I'm switch locked here though, which isn't like the best case, but it looks like they're just waiting to bring their Pokemon in, which just works for me. And at this point, I'm going to be able to get a Mega Horn onto this Mandibuzz. It's got the flying typing, so it doesn't do heaps and heaps, but it is a pretty like decent chunking damage. So you can see how much health that Mandibuzz lost there. So now I'm going to be pretty comfortably able to bring my Mandibuzz in, soak up, it could have 200 energy and my Mandibuzz would be able to soak it up and just win this matchup out. So they pretty much forced to shield there to make something happen. So I didn't have an infinite amount of farm. They're bringing the Obstagoon, and I'm kind of going, this is pretty good for me because I don't have a terrible time with Mandibuzz. And on the side, we know that we know that Mandibuzz is in the back, and I would like to keep my Mandibuzz for that to soak up all of the energy later on. So we bring in the Crustle, which is doing super effective X's, going to put on a lot of pressure. So I believe that I'm just going to burn all shields in this matchup. I can tank the first Night Slash, but I think I'm going to burn the next two so that I can try and take this Obstagoon out. Just because Crustle has a little bit of a better time up against Obstagoon than Mandibuzz does. And then again, I have so much health on my Mandibuzz that it is just like guaranteed to win up against Mikey's Mandibuzz, because it just doesn't have enough health, even if it had 100 energy. So we just keep going away. We've still got one shield, and I think we're going to burn it. Oh, they actually catch the X's onto the Mandibuzz, but it doesn't matter too much, because again, I think I've just got way too much health here. So it actually does take out the Mandibuzz. We swap into the Mandibuzz, and at this point, we still have a shield. I burned it this time instead of a little bit of bad matters in the last one, but yeah, we burn the shield and then one more Air Slash, and that is all that is needed, and we take out the round 3-0. So we went 0-3, 3-0, and we've got one round to go to kind of propel us up the rank. So let's jump into it. So going into the final round here up against Antagonistinc, we are 2-1 because of that bye at the start, and they've got that Roserade, which is not great, along Graveler, Obstagoon, Galvantula, Crustle, and Mandibuzz. Going into this one, I really liked the Crustle lead Mandibuzz safe swap from the last game, even though I still really didn't use it as a safe swap. It was pretty much a Mandibuzz closer, just to soak up everything at the back, so we decided to just go for it again with the Obstagoon in the middle. Crustle versus Roserade, I think Roserade tends to win this one, especially if it can land the Leaf Storm through. I knew that was a Weather Ball though, because that was way too fast, so we just let it come through. We know we can tank it, we're neutral, and we're going to farm up a little bit of extra energy there, go for the X-Scissor towards the end of their Bullet Seed animation, and then yeah, it does a huge amount of damage. I was kind of considering maybe swapping to Mandibuzz, catching a Fire Weather Ball there, and then finishing the job, but they definitely swap out, and I'm kind of happy to stay here, burn a shield, and then try and go. Well, this X-Scissor would take it out, or otherwise get that shield, and then I think we'd be able to farm all the way down. We undercharged there, but unfortunately not quite enough, so we take it out fully there. No extra farm for us. Again, something that I can improve for the future, but we've got the Crustle coming in, and it's a Smackdown Crustle, and at this point I'm going, oh, that's not great. So we can't bring in Mandibuzz, so we'll bring in the Obstagoon, and Crustle with Smackdown still gets to his X's pretty fast. So at this point, I'm kind of going, the fact that they've got two shields and they're doing so much damage with Smackdown, I think this game actually might be unwinnable unless they make some huge mistake, like they swap and give me a huge amount of farm, but they burn that first shield in the Night Slash, and they catch the Night Slash into Mandibuzz. At this point, I'm just going, you have defeated me so hard here, but it actually, like, it somewhat opens the door a little bit because I'm able to swap in my Mandibuzz. I could maybe escape this matchup with a bunch of energy onto that Crustle on the back, but I just don't have enough of an advantage on this Mandibuzz up against their Mandibuzz, and my Crustle is just dead in the back, so it's not going to be much help to Obstagoon. Sorry, Obstagoon is dead in the back, so not a great spot to be in, but we're just going to keep chugging along, thinking, how do we win this? Is there a single possible way? And I just don't really think there is. We could potentially, like, no, I was going to say you could maybe bet with a foul play, but it means nothing. Aerial Ace. If we got that Aerial Ace off first, maybe we could have put some sort of pressure on, but it wouldn't have even taken it out. So we actually do get this Aerial Ace off, I think, and we still have another charge move as well. So we'll see if they burn their shield. They don't, so they've kept their shield for the Crustle, so even though I'm getting this one Aerial Ace onto the Crustle, actually, I didn't tap on the fast move so that I can see them swap in and throw the charge move, but they've got the shield, so there's pretty much nothing I can do here. They're going to be able to, actually going to throw the charge move to take me out, and that is going to be our first game going to Antagonistinc. I stopped recording there early, evidently. So to take this one out, I'm going to need to get both of these last two wins. So we'll jump in here. It's just got the date, time code on the file name, but at this point, I'm kind of going, okay, that strategy didn't work, and it's because I didn't really prepare for that Smackdown Crustle. So going to this one, I'm kind of going, okay, I think it actually might be Golurk's time to shine. I mean, Golurk's got a pretty good time against Crustle, got a really good time up against Galvantula and Alolan Graveler if they want to bring them in. Obscurity isn't terrible either, and then Roserade, Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz is like the worst lead, but this is actually okay because I have a Crustle swap, and Crustle is pretty decent up against their entire team. So they bring in the Obstagoon, but this would be a good matchup even if we're in the lead. And now I have an energy advantage, so this is like even better for me. So I'm kind of going, this is pretty fine, and I need to win switch advantage because if I don't, then that Golurk is going to end up on the Mandibuzz again. So I need to win switch here. Again, I'm able to tank that first charge move pretty comfortably, knowing that I'm still going to be able to take this matchup out. So I go for the first X-Scissor. Going to get that shield out of the Obstagoon. There are now no more shields on the Obstagoon side. Sorry, with the second shield, sorry. This isn't going to take it out, but then I'm kind of hoping that I can burn a shield and then Fury cut it down. especially because of the energy advantage. I guess the energy advantage doesn't really help. We shield up, thinking that we can Fury Cutter down, and we are happily able to Fury Cutter that down. So we've one switch, which is really necessary. Plus, sorry, we actually have the shield advantage as well. So they're bringing the Mandibuzz. We're happy to bring in the Mandibuzz of our own, because the two biggest counters to Golurk are like the Mandibuzz and the Roserade. And with Mandibuzz kind of gone, I don't think they're going to be swapping into Roserade in the back. Actually, they swap into Alolan Graveler, and I'm going, oh man, this is great. Bringing the Golurk, look how much damage Mud Slap does. We can tank a move from the Graveler, but we do actually want to tank it so that Mandibuzz doesn't have too much energy to farm. Was the big Stone Edge as well, because they've really tried to do as much damage as possible, but we're going to go straight for the Dynamic Punch here, which isn't like it's not a nuke move because it's got the flying typing, but it still does a fair amount. Like, look at that. That is just really, really nice, and pretty much secures the victory for my Mandibuzz in the back. We don't get to a Shadow Punch as well, but yeah, basically at this point, our Mandibuzz has too much health. It's the same as those last few battles where my Mandibuzz just has more health than their Mandibuzz in the back, plus we have the shield advantage, plus we've got, you know, enough energy. So it looks like they've just, you know, conceded that they are going to lose that matchup, but stop tapping, and that is GG. So we're now 1-1 going to the very final battle of the tournament. If you haven't already, do go ahead and subscriptions, because hey, I'm putting out Lunar content all the time. So if you want more Lunar Cup content, come in here, and we go for the Golurk lead again because it works. We get the Mandibuzz lead again, so we're able to swap out. We actually go for the Mud Slap there. That was an accident. I didn't mean to get that Mud Slap off, but we swap into the Crustle, and Antagonistinc, knowing that that was like the thing that was counted the hardest by the Golurk, they swap it out here. So not a bad spot for Crustle, because I am able to get a huge amount of damage there with that Rock Slide. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get that X-Scissor off. I think I over-tapped one extra X-Scissor. So we decide to shield up, really again wanting to win that switch advantage so we don't land our Golurk up against the Mandibuzz, because that is really what we want to avoid. And they actually burned the shield. I was kind of hoping they'd let it go, knowing that Golurk was like not, like they want to let this Alolan Graveler go, so I can't farm with Golurk, but they've shielded, so I'm going to shield again. And at this point, I think I'm going to go for the full X-Scissor farm down, which is pretty decent because I've got a full Rock Blast here. So even if they're thinking to bring the Mandibuzz in, I'm going to be able to throw and move it, and they actually do. Which kind of makes me think, have they got something else that's like weak to Golurk in the back? Because this is like their big Golurk counter. Maybe they've just got something that's weak to Crustle, like an Obstagoon. But that Rock Blast just did so much damage onto that Mandibuzz. Like, really puts me in a pretty good spot. Let the Aerial Ace come through. Well, you have to let it come through. And at this point, again, same strategy. Bring in that Mandibuzz, tank all of this energy because we know we can. We have such a big health advantage. And soak up all these charge moves, just waiting for a swap that Golurk might want to come out for. The only thing that I'm not going to swap for is if Roserade comes out, I'm staying in. If it's like Alolan Graveler's gone, if it's Galvantula or Crustle or Obstagoon, I'm going to swap straight to that Golurk, and it is the Obstagoon. So we'd like to go for the Dynamic Punch, but I have a feeling that they don't know the Golurk counts. So I decide, okay, this Night Touch is going to do a lot. I don't think I'm going to get to a Dynamic Punch, so I'm actually going to go for the Shadow Punch here straight away. I could have got an extra Mud Slap in, but I figured they're going to burn the shield, and they burned the shield, and I was just like, yes, yes. And yeah, really good for us there. I actually might have got to a Dynamic Punch, maybe. Maybe I didn't need to do that. Maybe that was too much of a risk, but I mean, Mandibuzz still has a pretty good time in the back, even though they actually did boost, which I completely forgot to mention there, but I'm in a pretty good spot. That cross drop going to do a bit, but one more air race. Actually, like, let an extra counter come through, which is unfortunate because I didn't get the timings quite right, and it doesn't quite take it out. So I'm like, one more, and there we go, and we take out the final round, and that puts us again at 3-1, putting the almighty number 3 in the world. So thanks for watching. If you have watched it through this far, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially that subscribe one for all of the Lunar Cup content coming out in the future. This is definitely a lot of fun, and this second season in a row that I was able to kind of compete in that first tournament in the world. So number 2 last season, number 4 this season. Let's try and go for number 1 next season, or maybe throughout the course of this month we can maybe chase that number 1 a little bit more. But yeah, with that said, thank you everyone for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, I already said that bit. I want to bring the Patreon bit up. There we go. Thank you to my patrons and supporters over on Twitch as well for all of your support, because it is definitely appreciated. And then yeah, if you want to check out my other Lunar Cup videos, we've got the Meta Simplified, we've got the other tournament recap from Necrotic Fate, who actually did win their tournament. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. Congrats again to DankBrode on the number 1 in the world. I know there's people like Evo Stevo, one of my patrons, who did end up as number 1 in the US. So definitely a lot of fun to get involved. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.